Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. Today we'll be talking about the upcoming new moon coming up in the zodiac sign of Pisces. So we may all feel that in the air there's a new energy, like something is awakening within all of us, and we need to remind ourselves that we are the alchemists, which means that we are here to transform, to transmute what is holding us back into the seed of what we want to see. And this is what this new moon is all about. So we may feel like time is speeding up. The ascension of energy is happening faster than ever. And because of that, we may feel more mood swings and energy disturbances than ever before. Right? Do you feel like that? The energy that is rising right now, it's a creative energy. What's rising within us, what's happening all around us, it's the rise of creative energy. It's pushing out everything that was unseen before. It's pushing out everything that was kind of blocked, stuck, or hidden. It's coming out. And the purpose of creative energy is to transform seed into a plant, to transform food that you eat into your body, right? You become what you eat. It transforms thoughts into action. That's what inspires you. That's what motivates you. So a beautiful energy is rising right now, and this is a really special new moon because it brings us like a sense of a new beginning, like a big change is happening, and it's time for us to rise. It's time for you to rise and to remind yourself that nothing is wrong with you. But you're going through a phase of purification, so you can recognize why you've come here at the first place, what's your sole purpose, and why you feel so drawn into certain specific directions. Because often when I talk with people, sometimes I ask them like, have you been like since forever the way that you've been kind of sensing that life is not just how we've been told? And like most people say, yeah, I felt that, but usually I just ignore that feeling because I thought that I'm just making it up. But now we can notice that we can't ignore that anymore because it's getting so strong. That feeling that life is much more than what we've been told is getting so strong. And then we also can recognize the external improvements for that, because we notice so much of new information is coming up, new science is coming out saying that we are much more than we've been taught, right? That maybe we haven't just evolved out of animals. Maybe there was a certain genetic edit added to our evolution, and maybe we are just much more than what we've been told. If that happened, it means that there needs to be a purpose why we are today who we are, right? And many of us may feel like something incredible is awakening. And there's a fire within all of us that is kind of calling us to pay more attention to that fire, to recognize what passion is rising within you, so we can focus more on that. I want to give you 5 things that this new moon may inspire you and help you in your present evolution. And I also want to remind you that this is the beautiful time to refocus your energy into what you truly want to see in your life, what you want to focus on, to see growth of it, which means a beautiful time for manifestation, right? So the first reminder is that there is nothing wrong with you. You're just becoming more familiar with all the energies that have been accumulating through your life within your body and are now slowly leaving your system. Of course, if you're doing the work, if you're not just ignoring your emotions, but you're actually releasing them. If you're wondering how to release emotions, well, if you observe any kind of an animal, You will notice when they get into fights or when they experience something stressful, like when a cat jumps onto the road in front of a car and manage to escape the damage, the danger. Soon after that, the cat will shake off the energy. You can find it in dogs. When dogs get into fights, soon after that they shake off the energy. That's how can we shake off the energy, right? If you're exposed to something scary, something that damaged you emotionally, you need to shake it off. That's why sometimes we just feel a need to go outside for a run, maybe after a stressful day, and you leave something behind. With each step as you're running, you leave a part of that toxic energy behind. Workout, a great way to shake it off. But sometimes when the energy is deeply rooted within certain muscles of our bodies and we can't shake it off, we need to firstly recognize it. So meditation with observation of where the tension is present can be really powerful when it comes to releasing the energy. So this is something we need to know, that just feeling a certain energy, feeling a certain emotion within our bodies can help us to release that energy. Detecting in what part of my body I feel it. How does it feel? What's the form of it? And you can visualize like pulling that form, pulling that shape of a certain energy out of your body. You can see it in front of you like something weird, like something that feels really toxic. And you just release it. And then you can visualize like filling that empty space with light or with something that just feels really light. That's how can you practice the release of certain emotional energy. That's how I do it, and every time I do it, I find it really, really helpful, because we've all been kind of hurt in the past, and right now we all have some work to do. And this new moon is a beautiful, beautiful help and support on that path of healing. So this is just a reminder, but the first thing I want to say to you for this new moon is that it's a truly incredible time right now to make a list of goals for your future and try to make it as precise as possible so you can make a plan out of it, so you can transform your dreams into reality. So we all know what it means, right? When you take a piece of paper or a block, I have actually, I call it a sacred block. It's a block in which I write my dreams. And I don't mean dreams, just something I'm dreaming about. When I say dreams, I say my future, because it's, for now, it may be present as a dream, but I believe so much into that dream that it will transform into reality. When we start writing our dreams down with that kind of an intention and belief, there is no other way than the seeds will transform into what we want to see. Of course, with the right action, with the right nurturing. And for the right nurturing, we need to have a plan, right? We need to have a precise plan. And if you're an entrepreneur, you most probably understand that plans are made by identifying phases of what we need to do, right? In this phase, I will focus on that. In this phase, I will connect with those kind of people. In this phase, I will initiate this. In this phase, I will invest into this, and so on. So be precise when you are making plans and goals for your future, because the creative energy that is present right now is so helpful on this journey. And it's actually always present within you, and you can use it for creating. But you need to believe into yourself. You need to know that what you're doing is truly possible. What you want to accomplish is possible for you. That's why you are here. So you learn to work with that, right? So you learn to develop all those creative capacities that you have. Never ignore that. Never ignore your own power. Because if you go and distract yourself, you will soon forget about it. You will forget about anything. But you need to get back to yourself and remind yourself that you are a creator at the first place. But at the same time, you're a student because you're learning how to use that creative capacity, right? The second thing I want to remind you is that this is the phase of heart purification. I always mention that to you. So what is heart purification? It's the phase of emotional cleansing that will be happening so your etheric body can strengthen, so we can start downloading guidance from your higher self. So what it means, all the downloads we experience, all the insights and creative ideas and telepathy, everything enters into our minds through our etheric bodies. And if our etheric bodies are weak, it means that the connection can't happen coherently, which means that we may not receive a signal that we could receive if we would strengthen this body. So in ancient teachings of spiritual science, it's been taught that our soul is actually made from more bodies, like intellectual body, emotional body, intuitive body, which could be called as intuition, and etheric body. So once we strengthen our intellectual mind with the ability of, we expand our knowledge, but at the same time we balance our mind, so it's not overthinking all the time with meditation, for example, or certain focus practices. Then emotional body. If we're not taking care of our emotional wounds, it means that it will be poisoned. And like, for example, if you're not taking care of the wounds on your physical body, you would recognize that you're bleeding all over the place and you need to take care of that. If you're not taking care of your emotional wounds, your energy is running out and you don't know why, right? That's why we are always so vulnerable and everything is affecting on us. And we constantly feel drained out and so on. So we need to learn to take care of that shadow work and a practice of emotional awareness and awareness of the energy, like how something makes us feel, is so powerful to strengthen and heal emotional body. Intuitive body then is the body of intuition. Through that part of the soul we sense, the sixth sense, as some say. When you just sense something, when you're talking with somebody and you just sense, is that the truth? Or somebody may present you something and you just know, it doesn't feel right? That's intuition. More we start trusting our intuitive feeling, more we strengthen our intuitive body. So as we strengthen these three major parts of our soul, our etheric body becomes stronger. And once this happens, we are able to download guidance and inspiration and wisdom from the higher realm of the higher self, right? And that's how we start ascending on this spiritual level. This is truly a sacred work. It is coming from alchemy. It's coming from, actually, if we would go into any ancient tradition, we would find that teaching. And that is really powerful. So a heart purification is a phase where we start purifying and especially taking care of our emotional system. So if you feel like there's many emotional baggages or maybe you've been through many traumatic experiences and you may feel like, I need to heal this and that and that. Also pay attention to to taking action. You know, for example, when we are afraid of something because we've been in the past exposed to bullying or somebody was laughing at us, the best way to heal that wound is to expose ourselves once again with a great level of compassion and understanding that doesn't matter what happened in the past, it shouldn't define us. Of course, it taught us that this world is not just beautiful and kind, it's also mean and dark. But in order to fully expand ourselves, we need to overcome that and expose ourselves once again. So that's how we are stepping to the next level, and it's an important understanding at this point. Then the third thing I want to say to you here is that it's a great time for deep conversations with your partner, your friend, or family member, and just to make that resolution of your deep emotional needs and discussion of what's bothering you. Because you see, we are all in certain relationships with friends, with partners, husbands, wives, any family member. And we can't just escape that when something is bothering us. Even if we would escape that, we would not learn anything from that experience. But once we learn to honestly and openly express what's bothering us, what doesn't feel right in this relationship, we are able to put it onto the next level, and that's love, right? Honesty brings us closer and deeper into love. And that's something that we need to remind ourselves, because that's the hard part of a relationship. I know for myself, me and Maya are together 11 years. And in those 11 years, we've learned so much about those emotional triggers and wounds that we are carrying from our parents and ancestors. And together, sometimes we get into fights, not because like any specific reasons, but because we are holding to certain old unconscious pattern and we are repeating it. But at the same time, we pause and we say, oh, that's what happened. You know, we remind each other, oh, you did this. That's how your mother was often expressing herself when she was protective, right? And things like that. And when we start to be more honest and open, we are able to go through emotional reaction, and we become more honest and truly compassionate, because we understand when you are triggered, it's not an easy sensation to deal with, right? So we need to be patient and compassionate. So it's not about running away, but actually staying there and nurturing that connection. That's what is increasing our soul connections, because we are all coming from one. But then we've been so poisoned with all the programming that we don't know what's right anymore. So we need to learn once again how connected we are and how to nurture that connection, but also how to take care of ourselves during that process, which takes a lot of work and a lot of energy. And that's why you may feel sometimes that your life is going crazy, and it may be happening like that. But know that at some point you will find a bigger meaning, a bigger picture. And for that, sometimes you just need to do something new. You need to go to some new places to gain a new perspective over what's happening in your life. So be patient with yourself and be compassionate with yourself. That's truly important. The fourth thing is that this new moon may help you to balance your energy, between feminine and masculine energies. So if masculine energy is energy of willpower, energy of doing, energy of focusing on yourself and taking care of your body physically, like being active, working out, and doing unpleasant things, doing something hard. An important energy. If that energy is not balanced, it may lead us to what we call narcissism. We become really egoistic, right? So if masculine energy goes out of balance, we become really egoistic. We start identifying ourselves with what we have, and we focus only on having more of that. So we always seek more of what we already have. It's never enough, right? And that's where we become really narcissistic, because we only care about what's what we'll get here. You go into a relationship and you only care what will you gain within that relationship, right? And then feminine energy is the energy of creativity. It's the energy of compassion. It's the energy of empathy, right? If you're an empath, you feel that. But if that energy, it's also energy of creation. It's energy of connection. It's the energy that if you would see a fight happening, the feminine energy would get there and would calm the fight. So then things can resolve, right? That's the power of feminine energy. But when feminine energy goes out of balance, it forgets about its worth, right? So you forget about your worth. You forget about your nature. You become like an emotional sponge. Like wherever you get emotionally drained out. That's where the feminine energy goes out of balance. So you see, the only way that feminine energy is in balance and the only way that masculine energy is in balance is that they work together, right? That's why we come together, right? That's why a feminine and masculine energies needs to come together. And when they come together, they create what? They create harmony, right? So in order to experience a harmony in your life, you need to balance both aspects of life. Like atoms need to balance minus and plus together, so they start functioning perfectly well, like energetic waves and magnetic waves, so creation can exist. We need to balance our feminine and masculine energies. And if you're wondering like how to do that, well, I will make another video about it. But shortly, I can say that take care of your physical body, but also take care of your creative expression. Take care of your honesty and emotional vulnerability. Take care of how you feel, but then take action with that. So you don't stay just at feeling, just on that spiritual level. You express your spiritual sensations through your physical body, through taking action. And for that, we need a plan. We need to learn something new. We need to expand our knowledge a little bit. And that is something really, really powerful. The fifth, the last thing I want to mention here is that this new moon can help us to pay more attention. Like it can deepen our awareness over our body battery. So what I mean by that? Well, we need to start seeking towards greater balance in life, and we need to teach ourselves to focus on how something makes us feel. Because that's the reason why we are so often drained out, because we're not focusing on how something makes us feel. Or maybe even we may notice, okay, this doesn't feel right, but I'm afraid to leave it, or I'm afraid to say no. If you're a more empathic person, that may be you. And if it's hard for you to say no, then you need to deal with the consequences, right? So setting boundaries and learning to say no for the things that just don't feel right is something we need to learn, and that's something we need to build a habit out of it. And always when we're building new habits, it's uncomfortable work because it's unfamiliar, it's new. But as we're becoming more consistent with it, we become better at it, and suddenly it becomes a part of our nature, and suddenly we develop our character, right? And suddenly we strengthen our soul, and suddenly we recognize, well, I just feel much better. Thank you so much to myself that I did that, right? So setting boundaries and learning to say no will help us to protect our body battery, because we shouldn't be drained out all the time. We need to take care of our cup. Cup needs to stay at least half full, right? So we have something to share. So, which means that we need to pay attention to when our cup is draining out. And that's the time to take time for yourself, to recharge, to do something, to find practices and create a lifestyle that is filling you up with life. You need to do things that brings happiness into your life, that brings joy into your life, because that's what is filling us up. As we're living in this world that is kind of addicted to rushing, we've completely forgot about the importance of joy and happiness. So most people don't even question that anymore. But I want to remind you that if you're not taking care of your fundamental pillars of your soul, that are joy, happiness, love, creative expression, you will always feel like something is missing. So if we turn it around, focus on happiness, joy, creative expression, find something you're passionate about, that's what will fill up your cup, and that's what will make you feel much better. And that's why every single day I love to share something with you, just to remind you, hey, are you taking care of yourself? Because our lives can be much easier once we learn to balance a bit more those different aspects of us. So, my friends, have a beautiful celebration of this powerful new moon. Big changes are happening. Nothing is wrong with you. You're just knowing yourself better. And that is a work for the brave ones, right? So tap yourself onto the shoulders. Appreciate yourself for being brave enough for deciding to walk that path, because it's not an easy path, especially as we've been so hypnotized and so programmed to live a way that is not healthy for us, but beneficial for the system. We need to disturb all these patterns so we can get back to ourselves and recognize what's beneficial for us and our human connection. So we can develop habits out of it once again, so we can get back to our nature. My friends, this is it for today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. Have a beautiful day. Stay beautiful, stay creative, stay magnificent, because you are enough. Remind yourself you've been born enough, you are enough, and everything is already in abundance for you. Till next time, one love.